Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to take a Airsoft G36 apart. This one's made by JG, but this guide should be pretty much universal. Okay, so first you're just going to start off by removing anything extra, such as your front cover. Usually there will be a pin right here, which I do not have the pin in currently. So take off your cover and go ahead and remove the battery. Make sure you clear the chamber. Make sure there's no bullets in it. Okay, so now we are down to this. You can go ahead and fold the stock back. You don't have to remove it. Just fold it back. Okay, so now we are down to this, which is pretty much the core of the gun. Okay, so first you're going to start off by removing 3 screws. You will find these screws, one here, one here, and one here. So just grab your screwdriver and go ahead and unscrew those. Remember that the smaller screw goes up here. If you cannot get these out, you can take a small tool, like I have this small Phillips screwdriver over here. Just take this and poke it through the other end and it'll push the screws out. So there's 2 long ones and 1 short one. Remember that the short one goes here, the 2 long ones go here. Now you can go ahead and fold back the stock again. And you will notice a there will be another Allen type screw right here on the back. I can't really get the angle right, but it is right here on the back. Go ahead and remove that too. Now that that's removed, you're going to remove this pin on the part that holds the magazine in. So just press that through and pull it out. Okay, now you're going to press this forward, just like you're releasing a magazine. And at the same time you press it forward, you're going to pull this down. So press it forward and pull this down. It'll kind of just pop out like this. And then just pull it out. So just press this forward and it'll pop down. Okay. Next you're going to pull out the barrel assembly. So simply hold it like so. And you're going to put both hands on each side and you're going to use your thumbs to press this forward. Now don't do it all the way. Just do it a little ways. Then next, you are going to kind of pull these wires out here, and there will be a connector, small type connector. You're going to have to unclip that, which might be a bit tricky at first. Okay, now you're going to pull this out the rest of the way, and it will simply slide forward and pop up, like so. So just put that to the side. Now you're left with this. Now you're going to actually pull out the actual gearbox assembly. You're simply going to pull the handle, and this entire thing will kind of pop out like so. I accidentally bumped the camera there. So you can go ahead and just put this to the side. And now you are left with this. You are going to remove these 3 screws on the bottom. You will need a small Phillips head screwdriver, and go ahead and remove these 3. Now that those 3 screws are removed, you can go ahead and pry off the back plate using whatever you have, and it will pop off just like so. Okay, next you're going to remove this pin right here. So go ahead and just pop that out using a small screwdriver. That'll pop out on the other side. Okay, now you'll notice your gearbox is quite loose. You want to make sure there's a metal piece there. You want to go ahead and move that so it's to the semi, so it's kind of in a vertical position. So when you pull it out, it won't bump anything. So now you just slowly pull this out. You notice a couple parts fall out. That's fine. There we go. And now we are at our gearbox assembly. Now, you'll notice these two pieces popped out, simply a spring and a little button. I actually do not have no clue what this button is, but this button goes in like so. It'll just slide in there just right, and this little spring goes on top. And it should look like something like this. And just make sure that's there when you slide the gearbox back in. It's not necessary, so if you accidentally forget, it'll be fine. It's just, I don't know what it does. It's probably something like on the real version of the G36. But, yeah, it's just something you can push, and it's kind of weird. Next, I'm going to be replacing this motor. So I will show you how to do that. Okay, first you are just going to disconnect the two wires. So pull that one and pull this one. And remember, the black wire crosses around the motor, so just remember the black wire comes around and the red wire stays on the same side. Next, you're going to remove these two screws. Now that you have those two screws out, the motor will simply pop off. And remove the rest of the gearbox out of the way. Next, you're going to remove this screw here. Now that that's removed, you will need something such as a flathead to pry down this spring. And then this thing will hopefully pop apart. Like so. You may also want to loosen up this little Allen thing here just a bit before pulling out the motor. You will need a very small Allen tool. Next, you're going to put the new motor in. The spring that came with my motor is not the right size, so I'll have to use the spring that was previously used. So, you're going to put your new motor in, making sure to get the polarity right. If you notice on the bottom, there is a plus. The plus will go this way. Now that the motor is part way in, you are going to take this little disc that came off the Allen wrench thing and just place this back in here. This will also be tricky as the motor is magnetic. Now you're going to simply place this part back on and make sure you put the spring part in first. So kind of slide it down like so. And then it will snap back together. Now replace the screw. Next, retighten the Allen wrench thing on the bottom. Just make sure it's snug. Doesn't have to be super tight. You might need to adjust this later, depending on your gearbox. If you're done, simply place this back in, making sure this seems to fit right. Make sure you don't do it the other way. It needs to go in like so. And replace the screws. If you want to take the gearbox apart, keep watching. First, you're going to want to remove this top metal plate thing. This could be tricky. You will probably need a flathead screwdriver and simply just press in this little slot and that'll help out. Next, you're going to remove all the screws and make sure that you previously pulled this little plastic pin out holding the wires. So there should be about 5 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Make sure you don't lose any of the washers if there are any. Once you remove all the screws, make sure you hold it together so it doesn't pop apart. And you're going to remove this little plastic piece close to the trigger. Okay, the reason I'm opening mine up is to fix this cylinder here, which actually I guess I don't need to open it up, but that should always be facing this way and should be open to provide airflow. Okay, and then I'm also going to be replacing the spring with this Systema M130, I believe. So you're going to take a screwdriver and slowly pry open the back end right here. This part is quite tricky. You might want to try to pry it apart right here, as that's a good spot. You can go and pull this piece out. Okay, place your screwdriver in here into, there's a piece here, and then simply try to hold it, and it'll pop apart. I think a couple of the pieces might have popped on mine. Try not to let that happen. And now you can make the changes you want to your gearbox and put it back together.